Prepositions are the key triggers that alone have the power to influence the meaning of the entire sentence. Today we discuss 10 confusing pairs involving prepositions which often become a bit ticklish during everyday speaking. Let's begin. Alright, so we begin with the first pair, which is angry with and angry about. And the rule over here is that we use the preposition with along with angry whenever we are upset with a person for doing something, whereas we use the preposition about along with angry whenever we are upset about something. Over here, I'd also like to point out that you can also use the preposition at in both the cases, which is to say that you can be angry at somebody and you can also be angry at something. But that's the rarer usage, and you've got the more usual and regular one as angry with and angry about. And now let's get to those examples. We begin with the side of angry with. You have a sentence as, I'm angry with John for ruining my birthday party. So you have a person involved over here named John, and hence you have the usage as, I'm angry with John. As opposed to this, you have a sentence over here as, people are angry about the town's poor hygiene. You have a thing over here and not a person, which is hygiene, and you have that usage of the preposition as angry about the town's poor hygiene. Coming to the last pair of examples, you've got a sentence here as, citizens are angry with the municipal council for faulty planning. Now, although you do not have a real person involved over here, you've got the municipal council, which is treated as an artificial body of persons and hence gets the same treatment as people. Therefore, you have the usage as angry with the municipal council. As opposed to this, you have the sentence over here as, what are you angry about? Now you have the question word what over there, indicating that we're talking about something and not someone, and you have the right usage as angry about. So that's the first pair, angry with and angry about. You're going to use angry with for people for doing something, whereas you use angry about for the thing itself. That's pair number one. Let's move on to pair number two. Alright, so we arrive at the second pair, which is arrive in and arrive at. And the rule over here is that we use arrive in for the larger places such as countries and cities, whereas we use arrive at for smaller locations such as towns, specific addresses, and so on. Let's have a look at some examples. So you have the sentence as, she arrived in India, whereas you have she arrived at Dalhousie, which is a quaint little hill town. So you have at Dalhousie. Now another thing over here, which is that when two locations are mentioned within the same sentence, then the larger location will receive the preposition in, whereas the smaller location will receive the preposition at. Let's have a look at the example. So you have the sentence as, they arrived in Delhi at the Connaught Place. And another one over here, which is, he will arrive in India at Mumbai. Now, although Mumbai is a large city, nonetheless, it's the smaller area of the two between India and Mumbai, and hence Mumbai receives the preposition at, while the larger area, India, receives the preposition in. So that was rule number two, which is arrive in and arrive at. Arrive in for the larger areas, whereas arrive at for the smaller areas. And now let's proceed to pair number three. We begin with the third pair, which is congratulate on and congratulate for. And the usage over here is that we congratulate someone on something, whereas we congratulate someone for doing something. Let's have a look at the examples. You have the sentence which reads, I must congratulate you on your victory. So this victory over here is that something. Therefore, you've got the usage as on your victory. As opposed to this, you have a sentence over here that reads, I must congratulate you for buying the new house. So you've got that doing something in this case as buying the new house, and you have your usage as for buying the new house. Over here, I must point out that occasionally you might even encounter the usage of on in this scenario, that is congratulate for doing something, which will render the sentence as I must congratulate you on buying the new house. Now, this is not a wrong usage, but it is the less regular usage. You've got the more frequent usages as already discussed, which is on along with something and for along with doing something. So that was your pair number three, congratulate on and congratulate for. And now let's proceed to pair number four. So on to pair number 4, which is dream of and dream about. And the usage over here is that you use the preposition of along with dream whenever you are thinking or imagining while awake, whereas you can use either the preposition about or of along with dream when you are dreaming while asleep. Let's take the examples now. So you have the sentence as she dreams of being an astronaut one day. So that's her wish, her hope, and you have the usage as dreams of. Whereas you have a sentence over here which is last night I dreamed about or dreamed of a lovely vacation. So this is the dream that one had when they were sleeping, and you have the usage over there as dreamed about or dreamed of. So that's pair number 4, which is dream of or dream about. And now on to pair number 5. We proceed with pair number 5, which is get in and out of versus get on and off. And the usage over here is that you always get in and out of cars and taxis, whereas you always get on or off buses, trucks, trains, ships, bikes, planes, and so on. Essentially all the transportation that have their floor higher up from the actual surface. Let's have a look at the example. So you have a simple sentence as she got in a car, whereas you have she got on a plane. And the same principle applies to other verbs as well, such as she slept in the taxi, whereas she slept on the plane. So that was all about pair number 5. On to pair number 6. Alright, so we begin with pair number 6, which is good at and good in. So we use the preposition at along with good whenever we wish to express what someone does well. As opposed to this, we use the preposition in along with good whenever we wish to write a wrong sentence. So it's a very common misconception, a common error, which is why I thought of taking the pair up. So let's have a look at some examples over here. You have the right usage as Sarah is good at singing. As opposed to this, you have the wrong sentence as Sarah is good in singing. Taking one more example, because the same principle applies to the adjective bad as well. So you have that sentence as Rick is bad at basketball, as opposed to the wrong usage, which is Rick is bad in basketball. So that's all about pair number 6, good at and good in. You've got your good at, which is the correct usage, as opposed to the wrong one, which is good in, the one to be avoided. That's all about point number 6. Let's proceed to pair number 7. We begin with the 7th pair, which is laugh at and laugh about, and the usage is that we laugh at someone or something, whereas we laugh about an incident, an action that might have taken place. Let's have a look at the examples. So you have the first one as the entire class laughed at Joan, whereas you have everyone laughed about it later on, it referring to an incident. Taking similar examples, you have this one as they laughed hard at his clothes, clothes being the something over here. Whereas you have this sentence as someday we will laugh about it, it once again referring to an incident that took place. So there you have it. Pair number 7, laugh at and laugh about. You got laugh at someone or something, whereas you have laugh about an incident. And with that, let's proceed to pair number 8. We begin with pair number 8, which is sorry for and sorry about. Now things tend to get a bit tricky here because there are quite a few uses. Let's begin on this side. So we use sorry for or sorry about for something that someone has done. Let's take an example. We have the sentence as I'm sorry for breaking your window. You can also have that sentence as I'm sorry about breaking your window. Breaking the window being the something that someone has done. You can also use sorry for a person when you feel bad for them. So you have the sentence as I really feel sorry for her, she's got cancer at a young age. So someone is feeling about a person who's struggling with cancer at a young age. You have that sentence as sorry for her, she's got a cancer at a young age. As opposed to this, we come to this side. We use about along with sorry for something that happened. Let's have a look at the sentence. You have I'm sorry about your car. So perhaps this car was in an accident, and on hearing this, the speaker says I'm sorry about your car. You can also use sorry about when someone passes away. When you wish to express condolence, you have a sentence over here which says, I'm sorry about your father. So over here, someone's father has passed away and the speaker is expressing his condolence as, I'm sorry about your father. So that is all about pair number 8, sorry for and sorry about. Let's proceed to pair number 9. We arrive at pair number 9, which is really quite simple. You have speak to versus speak with, and the difference over here quite simply being that you've got speak to, which is a British usage, you've got speak with, which is the American version for the same. So you can go ahead and choose either versions in your usage depending on the version of English that you follow. And with that, we go to the examples. You've got two sentences with the same connotation. You've got, could I speak to Joseph, please? And you also have, could I speak with Joseph, please? Once again, one as good as the other. So you have that pair number 9 as speak to versus speak with. You've got speak to as the British usage, whereas you have speak with as the American. And with that, we proceed to the last pair, pair number 10. Here we are at our last pair, so very fittingly we have in the end and at the end. So we use the preposition in along with the end whenever something happens finally or after a long time. As opposed to this, when we use the preposition at along with the end, it means at the point where something stops. Let's have a look at the examples. You have the sentence as, in the end, she got a visa for Russia. So perhaps there was a long waiting period involved, hence you've got, in the end, she got a visa for Russia. As opposed to this, you have the sentence as, I love the guitar riff at the end of the song. So at the end of the song is a point, and hence you've got at the end of the song. Similar examples, you have this one as, in the end, the war ended in truce from both the sides. So of course, wars do not end in a day. That's a long period. So finally, the war has ended, and you have that sentence as, in the end, the war ended in truce from both the sides. As opposed to this, you have, there's an old woman at the end of the line, that being a specific point, and hence you have at the end of the line. So that's all about the final pair, pair number 10, which was in the end versus at the end. I hope you found this preposition presentation useful. If you have, please go on, like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back with more useful stuff soon. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all the support. Cheers.